Hey everyone, and welcome back to Episode Club. Well, it's not really Episode Club anymore as of yet, but we're going to just be having a sort of party stream / celebration of the end of Game of Thrones. This is just like a random mix before we go to the next series, and well, there is something that's kind of happened, and there's basically a tie that's happened with the episode club series, sort of speak. We have basically Westworld and Stranger Things at a basic tie because some people double voted, or they voted two times on two different polls. So by the end, at near like the middle, we'll ask you all to vote which one you want, and then we'll do that as of next week. But you all know who these people are, but I'll let them introduce themselves to you again. So, John, since you're unmuted, introduce yourself, my friend.
John St. Baptise, thanks you for having me here, Kenzie. I want to wish you a very happy birthday. And I'm excited to talk about some of our highlight moments of this great series that, has kind of brought all of us together as friends and family, It's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, it's spanned over a couple of months. So, whoever wants to go next.
What's good, YouTube? AK here, and happy name day there, Lady Sassy Sansa. Appreciate you having me on, and yeah, let's get to the random tomfoolery.
And hello, I'm Ben Sly, Tank Benjamin from Drinks and Nose. Thank you, Ken, for having me. It's always fun to hang out with you guys, and happy birthday. Glad it was a good one for you, and hopefully you can get a nice drink this weekend as it should be. Look forward to tonight. Yeah, and I will apologize now for any swearing that may happen. I do have the Blues Bruins game on this TV that may randomly get some mouse spurts going. So.
Oh no! Hey, this is kind of meant for. As you may or may not have saw, earlier today, I had uploaded a video which was every single, basically either "Hey everyone, welcome back," or "We are live" that we ever did by me for Episode Club. That was just fun to kind of go back and be like, oh my god, the state of change that had happened, and all the different people that were on with us. And if I remember correctly, I'm pulling it up right now, even though it'll be on mute. The very first one that we did, I think, was in October or September time. It'll pull up in a second. My internet is just going all weird and slow, but the first time we did one was August 28th was the very first episode club, and as of last week, that was the very last one. So I know some of you weren't there from the beginning. I know, Ben, you jumped in the middle of season 1. But what was like a favorite, if you were on it or not, like a favorite thing that we did with Episode Club, whether it was a funny joke or something? Because we don't have to talk about this the entire time, but it was like a favorite thing that we did, whether it was just a joke or something like that.
The confirmation of the butt stream, which still needs to happen. That was an early one. I think that was when I was on. I think that was like episode 5 or 7 of season 1. We were talking about it, and yeah, it was confirmed. And still, I think that's coming soon.
It should be. It should be sometime soon. What? I thought someone.
I think my favorite thing was the all ladies panel that we did with Lauren and I think it was Catherine.
Clarissa.
Yeah. And that was just hella fun. Shenanigans definitely ensued. So you guys should go watch that if you have not already.
Yeah, it was John, I know you were on quite a lot of them. So can you pick one that you enjoyed a lot?
Ones that I really enjoyed. I I enjoyed trying not to bitch about Dorn. Because if I remember correctly, I was on like almost every episode for season 5.
Or close to it, yeah. For everyone that
And,
wasn't a podcast, yeah.
like, I really put forward such a hard effort not to bitch about Dorn because enough people bitch about the show. Yeah, there are good things, bad things, but having to put forth that effort, kind of made me work out some of my mental muscles.
John, really quick to add to that for myself, I'm gonna go with the exact opposite. My favorite thing I'm doing on the show was getting my Shay rant or hashtag Ben rant, getting them out because I was on our streams. I was always Ben, stop, you can't be there, blah blah. You guys just let me go. I was like, give me 3 minutes, I'll get it out, and so I always appreciated that. That was my place to just get it out.
Of course, because for majority of that time still you were had to be spoiler free for Abby. So I was like, yeah. I think because I think a favorite thing or the favorite moment about episode club was it started off with humble beginning, and then it grew to what it is, and what it's going to be in the future, which I can't wait for, and we'll talk about it in a little bit again. But yeah, it's getting to kind of stream with all of you, either at one point or all together, which is always fun. And yes, people are talking about the bud stream that should be showing up. It'll basically be dependent on what the answer is of this voting that we'll do about midstream, just so we wait for more people to show up. But yeah, the episode, I think a favorite that was probably getting to do like AK said, an all ladies one, because it was always a lot of time. It was me, Johnny, Jonathan, Baptise, or someone. It was like a lot of guys at one point, or it's just me and 2, and then it was like another 2, so it was never like just strictly. So a lot of I think it was season 6 was just me and Clarissa, or me and Alicia and Clarissa or something. So that was fun. Another an awesome stream, a stream of consciousness. Yes, the butt stream came about for season 1 recap / best of moments, and I think it was my 200. I think it was 200 subs stream.
Yeah,
because it was the first question. I think it was from Sasuke, and I don't know if she's here yet. But the first question was, who had the best butt of season 1? And I think unanimously it was Khal Drogo.
Yeah,
which was so funny. But yeah, we did.
Can't argue with it. I mean, it's
I mean, yeah.
And now, if I remember correctly, it's come down to your best 5 guy butts and your best 5 girl butts, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the best. Yeah, it'll be like a best of butts and stuff like that. It'll be, yeah. So get your rankings ready. There was minimal buttage in season 8. So whichever, I guess for some
there was one. I was gonna say there was one that was all we needed. Yeah, but that was all we needed.
And I felt a little dirty. I'm gonna have to admit I felt a little dirty because she's like my kid's age.
Yeah, there's minimal butts, but I guess that makes kind of sense for where it went. So yes, get your tallies your votes for your list of the best butts, and we'll do that very, very soon. We'll all go through them all and talk about it, and you don't have to make like a reason why. You can make an argument if you want, but I think
so one thing I wanted to bring up just while we're I just thinking about it, I saw Dunkin' Donuts commercial, and I wanted to give congratulations to Queen Sasa something for earning the Shame Coffee Cup in the Drinks and Nose Pick'em Challenge Fantasy League.
Yeah,
I thought that was pretty good.
When I dropped, I was like, because I was like too lofty with my goals. I was just like, oh well, just like Like, because I'd never done that before, like a famous feeling thing. So I was like, hey, but I may have won the shame coffee cup, but my namesake, quote unquote, won the North. So that's
She
all I
did.
got.
Exactly.
That's all I got.
Like a boss.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck Sansa.
Hey. Okay.
Sansa should have sat the. She should have sat the throne. No,
If
no
Joe
Bran
Brennan
needed.
melted. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, fair. She should have had to rule overall.
I think that I saw things online about like Drogon melted the throne. Or it's like there's multiple versions or memes, but it's like pointy. Mommy got stabbed with something pointy. Chair must die or something along those lines. Or it's like the reason why the Iron Throne was melted down. I think I said this last week. So someone didn't have to lift Bran in and out of the chair. Most likely that have been Podrick because Podrick was the one wheeling him in and out of the small council chamber. So it's like
Chaos is a ramp.
not a ladder anymore. Yes, chaos is on the ramp. Yeah, we did. I know we kind of talked about a lot of stuff from the last episode, but overall, and we kind of talked about this last week. Would this still be a series that you would recommend people to watch, barring
Absolutely.
your own personal grubbings?
Absolutely. Even with all of the random fuckery, it was still a great show. Especially like seasons 1 through 4. I think were some of the best. So yeah. I just tell them to be ready for disappointment in some arenas just to prepare them, and that's it.
Well, honestly, if I was recommending, like, I'd look at Abby. Like, if we were to start this all off after we knew what was happening season, I still would have done it. And I think she's still show watchers. If you binge through it and it's just a hardcore straight through binge, you're gonna enjoy it all the way through. I don't think you're gonna because you're not gonna have time to sit and think about all the different theories and the whatnots and the this should happen, this could happen. Yeah, you'll feel it's a little rushed towards the end because that's just obvious. You can feel that, but I think most first-time watchers now will still appreciate it and be absolutely okay and happy with the ending. As long as you don't overthink it, like we all had to.
Yeah, agreed. I think I would say to anybody who has not seen any of this, or I would say that outside of Battlestar Caprica and The West Wing, this is some of the best telly that's been put on in the past 20 years. First 4 seasons is certainly like there, and even the last 4 seasons are leaps and bounds ahead of a lot of telly that's out there.
I totally agree with that.
A lot better. Like even the worst parts are still better than a lot of the telly that you see all the time.
Yeah,
Very
I
true.
agree. And honestly, I can't think of one show. Well, I take that back. Breaking Bad is probably the only show that was pretty much solid from beginning until very end. It didn't really drop. The story never meandered. But besides that, every other great show out there, The Wire, Oz, Sopranos, in the last season or two, it always seems to drop off. It's a thing that writers have. It basically writers don't know how to close out. They know how to world build. They know how to create. And I think that's one issue George is having too. Is they know how to world build. They know how to create. Even Stephen King, one of my favorite writers of all time, the endings of his books are never the strongest. He gets the build, he gets the crescendo, but it's the wrapping up that's the issue. And so so whenever something ends badly or not quite to my satisfaction, I'm okay with it because I know ending something is way harder than actually starting it. And to end it right, it's very rare. So I'm good with how everything turned out.
Yeah, it's always that the act 3 part of a show or a movie.
Mm-hmm.
They never it seemed to all get it completely right all the time. So,
No, I totally agree. And I know you guys know how passionate I am about Battlestar. Like, I think that's one of the few shows that actually, the Act 3 was even better than Act 1 and 2. And some fans disagree with that. I think they're wrong. And I have for 10 years now. But, like, yeah, a lot of shows, they end with a whimper, not a bang.
Yeah. And that's a problem that D&D struggled with. Going into, I guess, the last season, I guess because they knew they had Lucasfilm money and all of these other things, and not wanting to be bought necessarily by HBO. But, Johnny, how are you doing today, my friend? You can hear me? If not...
Lol. Setting up. I'll be right there. I'd just like to say, John, I want to braid your hair. AK, it's nice to see your fiery face. Apparently, Alicia Kingston is Azora High, confirmed. Ben, it's nice to see you've retired and went Magnum PI. Going into the private investigation business is not an easy thing, and I commend you for that, sir. You probably got a golf bag near you somewhere, too.
Actually,
But I'll be right there.
Investigating
that's
or investigating privates.
it's
I
not just a
investigate
random
private.
bag. No, he's got a full-fledged Mary Poppins, almost baby TARDIS bag over there, full of his tricks.
I do have a bag near me full of things that make me think I can do tricks. Like I got the beer purse sitting right next to me, so
Ben is a trick.
That's all the tricks you need, right? It's just brought on by that.
So you're saying Ben is a trick who investigates privates?
I don't know.
I think you just solved the case, John.
Oh wait, hold on! Holy shit! Damn it! Did we just out Ben's cover?
Uh-oh.
Is he part of that random agency with briefcases?
I don't think the Blue Oyster is watching.
You probably won't get that if you haven't seen Umbrella Academy.
I am. I'm on like episode 2, so I have not got.
There's some slow movements in the beginning. It gets better. Keep watching.
That's why I watch everything at 2 times speed, so I can kind of get through stuff, catch the main gist of it. I just haven't had time to sit down and watch it. After the blue season, I'll be on it.
Peter Griffin says he just bought a new golf bag today. But as I look at the chat, I'll give some people in the chat who are in the chat with us today some shout outs. What?
Can I say, Peter Griffin, is that a Marlboro 10,000 JSB?
Oh.
Instead of a 100. Hey, I think John St. Baptiste smokes Virginia Slims.
No, I've got these filters. They're supposed to help me quit smoking. Let's see how well it works.
Are those the same type of cigarettes from The Fifth Element? Is that what you're
No, it's like a filter you put on your cigarette. Like, hey, it worked for Hunter S. Thompson. Well, he never.
Yeah, and Johnny Depp. So you're doing good, bro.
His look-alike or supposed look-alike.
Yeah, John looks like a Gollum 8. Johnny Depp. I'm still in roast mode from earlier this week. Sorry.
Roast. Yeah, we can continue.
Oh, if
into
you
a
want to
roast.
play that game, I can roast all y'all.
Oh man. But before we go too crazy, except that's Johnny's no means no thing. We'll shout out some people in the chat. So we have Utila Angel, Phil H, Linda R, Catherine Harding, one of my Patreons. Ella Mars here, Peter Griffin. Let's see. Someone named Sly the Tank Vengeance. Don't know who he is.
He's a
I've
asshole.
seen that guy before. He's a troll, man. You just go ahead and kick him the fuck out of here.
Somehow he has he's a moderator along with some random person named John St. Baptiste. I don't know.
Yeah, you can go
Hey,
that
watch out.
way too. Yeah, just get rid of that one.
That guy's a vampire. Be
Fuck
careful.
that drunk vampire. Fuck him.
Someone named, as well as Danny McKay. Let's see. Fake Aria, as well as some lady named Alicia Kingston. I don't know who she's
Yo,
also.
that bitch is crazy. You should definitely get the fuck away from her. There's no telling what she'll do.
Linda R. And now there's dishes in the background. Julianne 89. Someone named Johnny B. Crazy, and he somehow all of these people got onto the stream. Crazy. Linda Smith, who won the big book giveaway on Johnny's channel. Go check that stream out if you haven't already, because it was awesome. And now there's too many dishes going on in the background. But
It's
and
really not that loud. It's okay. At least we know that you're in a safe environment. We think you're locked in that weird cardboard box that you live in. So it's good to know that there's some outside engagement there. So it's nice to see that. Me, no, I'm just a hermit. I talk to myself in the corner when I'm not online. That's how I practice. Other than that, I'll shut the hell up. I'm still trying to set up. Sorry.
It's okay.
You should maybe go get that situation checked out.
Then we have OTDA, Fake Aria, and Nancy T, the mother of blankets, is in the chat. And yeah, I think I caught. Oh, and my Twitter mom, Bobby Catalano, and also fellow Cylon and Julianne 89, fellow Cylon and Jills.
And then I don't know if I heard Danny McKay.
Yes.
Okay.
Finger guns for Danny McKay. Finger guns for Danny McKay. But, stay safe, Julianne. There's a tornado warning where she is.
Julianne, ain't you close to where I am? There's something coming. I swear, maybe I'll hear a siren in a minute. I'll let you guys know.
Yeah,
I'll stay online though. So
tornadoes are fine. We had one about 3 miles away from me about 3 days ago. They're fine. Tornado siren goes off, everybody else goes downstairs. I walk outside.
Well, I mean, a few people died about a month ago, so I mean, right here.
Yeah, that's true.
But you know what? You know what, Ben? I tell you what, man. That hat is making you an asshole. No, I'm just kidding.
It's like on island time or something, so nothing matters.
Pretty much. I'm going on vacation. I'm actually heading down your way, beginning of July, beginning of July, Johnny, and getting ready to go to the beach and just I'm like, screw it. And I thought this was birthday stream. This is party stream. So I'm like, okay, party mode.
If you hear someone ask,
so you came on here looking like Weekend at Bernie's.
Goddamn right.
Ben, I've seen you in party mode, and you are not currently in party mode.
Oh, okay. Now I'm in relax mode.
He's watching the game, so he won't be too
party mode.
Because I have seen Ben in party mode, and this has not been in party.
Do we want to talk about John's party mode?
There's picture evidence of John.
We have picture evidence.
It's all stop. And then I shut down for an hour, and then I just keep going.
There was barely a moment where my dude was not lit.
Yeah.
That's why I was my queen. No, I'm sorry, I'll stop.
No. Yeah, there's fucking Jon Snow. But so, I'm surprised. Did anybody watch the documentary? If you did, what you think about it? Did you? I know Johnny. I know you watched it. But what did you think about the documentary? While I mute myself for a minute.
Documentary let me know how hard those people worked, even with this bad. I don't know. I guess script. I just feel like it was semi-incomplete, and you could see the disappointment on some of their faces. But the work that these people put in, I give them nothing but all the credit in the world. I mean, I knew that they worked hard, but this just lets you know how hard they really work on this. And that one person seemingly serving coffee to like 1,000 people, MVP. That one woman that makes those badass panini press sandwiches. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun to watch that. It made me get the spirit of Game of Thrones a little more. I kind of vicariously lived through this dark extra. He was, I don't know, he was infectious.
Andy, I think his name was. Yeah, Andy.
Yeah, I
Anyone?
agree. I agree. I already appreciated how much work they put in, but this gave me an even, higher understanding of everything that they went through, and I thought it was great. It was really cool, and they didn't stay to just like the main characters. It was the bulk of the interviews were with the crew and like background characters, random Stark Soldier 3. And that I thought that was absolutely fantastic to see the whole process of this huge monumental thing coming together. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, I love that they gave that guy a shout out because as they showed it in the end credits, I don't know if you watched that, but he's actually the host or the tour guide for the Game of Thrones like tour and stuff. And so I noticed him since at least Battle of the Bastards. I believe he was in earlier seasons than that too. But he did point out the one shot he has, like, yeah, I randomly got a solo shot, like a good second on screen of me just staring off. And so I like that they gave the credit to like the extras, and then also the hard workers behind the scenes, the hair, the makeup, the special effects people, and even the catering, the chicks running the coffee shop thing, because everybody there had a role to play, and without them, they would not have been able to do as well as what they did. And so I like when shows and just anybody gives credit to people behind the scenes. That always means a lot. I think that those people deserve way more credit than they ever did.
Very true. We did see the problem of what happened with the snow. That guy just didn't really give a shit about the snow. And also, next time we cut back to Ben, he's going to have a goatee. He keeps looking cooler every time it cuts to his cameras. His hat gets down a little bit more, getting closer to his eyes, and he's just getting closer to the mic and more intimate with it. Yeah, the guy with the snow kind of, it just needs to be a little bit here because I guess winter's over in like 6 months, which makes no sense. The White Walkers are not why there is winter. They use winter to their advantage, but whatever. There's still seasons. Other than that, I'll shut the hell up. John, what do you think? Did you get to watch it?
Yeah, I did. I actually I watched it really late, and it's kind of buggered up my sleep schedule because Sundays I usually get home about like 12:30 or 1 in the morning, and we had a wedding at the hotel that night, so I got home at like 2:30, and I was like, oh, I have to watch this, and I'm like, oh, it's 2 fucking hours, so I ended up going to sleep at sunrise, and like you guys were saying, like I think it's awesome that they like really focused on the people you don't hear about, the people you don't, but who without without them, it wouldn't be a show. It would just be stage acting, which I love some stage acting, but that's not what you watch your telly for. That's what you go to the theater for. I thought it was really cool how they went into how they have to do all the green screening. I always find that stuff really interesting, just because I'm, as anyone who follows my channel knows, like technologically inept and a bit of a Luddite. So I always find it fascinating, like how they do the green screening and then put the backgrounds in and all that. I'd still like to whinge and moan about how absolutely dark episode 3 was, because you can't see shit. But the work that went into it, like I appreciate it quite a bit more.
I think it was tire tracks, man. Fucking tire tracks. Might have been why it's so dark.
Yeah. You don't want to see the tire tracks. That was the least of their worries. But yet they let a coffee cup and a water bottle, like plastic water bottle. But
I'm sorry that started, but that was deliberate advertisement. Somebody got money for that.
Well, unfortunately, the people that deserve to get money for it didn't. Like for the coffee cup, because everybody's like, oh, it's a Starbucks cup. It's a Starbucks cup. No, it's a Lee's coffee cup, and Lee's was
Exactly.
pissed. They're like, that was our cup. Son of a bitch, it's not fucking Starbucks. And Starbucks, yeah, got a huge like
Yeah.
promotional boost from it.
But
Yeah.
somebody
Johnny and I
did
would
it
not
as a troll.
think about
They
promoting
had to.
Starbucks. Not a thing.
What'd you say, Johnny?
Yeah,
I was just somebody was trolling when they did that. You have to see that in editing. You have to see that.
you would think, but I don't know. Sometimes little things like that do get ignored. But I
Oh,
wanted
yeah.
to tap on to what OTDA just said. Shout out to Kit Harrington. This shit was stressful as hell. My boy had to check into rehab, so wishing him and Rose the best of luck in the recovery
Yeah.
he's got to go through.
Yeah,
I mean, it's inappropriate, but
I second that.
So, like,
Kind of had the
take-
same
take a
thought there,
drink from
John.
Kit.
yeah. Because he went from filming season 8 to I think filming his. I think he was the featured actor in The Life and Death of J.F. Donovan, I think is what it was, with Susan Sarandon, which was to then being on stage for I think it was 8 to 10 weeks for the West, like a stage play, to then going back to promoting for Game of Thrones. So yeah, it's like literally no time off. And when you're the biggest star on the biggest show, and pretty much everybody knows your character and compares that show to your character, that's a heavy stress. Like more details apparently came out about it today, saying that he first started to go into therapy, I think after in season 5 when they had to kill him off, and because he was basically the namesake show, like that was it was basically his show and Amelia's show. Everybody else was just like in the back because everybody just knows those two actors. But because that was his first like on-screen role, you even see it in his final scene, which we can talk about that too. Like his final scene in the entire show is in the last episode, him walking up to Grey Worm and be like, "Don't kill these people, Grey Worm. I'm gonna do whatever the heck I want." I was surprised that was kind of. I know they film out of order, but I was surprised that was his last scene, and you can see it too when he's talking about like as his like rap speech that like he was not dealing with it kind of well. Like he was just like all kind of emotional about it, and I'm not surprised that it was stress and because of other things that had happened other times in the press. Like I know he's got caught in New York and I think in Paris as well in like precarious situations. I don't know. Like I wish him all the best, and I'm happy that like the community's like so like respectful of like what he's going through and like wants the best for him and everything. And I think he's actually in Connecticut, I think is what it was saying, that he's
I believe so.
facility, so the facility that he's in. So yeah, because Rose must be in New York filming for her show, to spin off to the
Somebody
good.
needs to tell him his pecker isn't that small. Tormund was playing. I had to lighten the mood.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But I guess we can talk about talk about if we still want to talk about the documentary or not, or we can move on to something else. Have a bunch of tomfoolery, whatever we want to do.
I just gotta say, the last 2 episodes, man, fuck Big Worm. Like, I understand
More
your
like big sperm.
I was gonna say
Big
no
perm.
worm.
I understand your Khaleesi died and all, but seriously, like, I mean, you're just, I think he's 10 times as crazy as Mom.
Playing with my Khaleesi's like playing with my emotions.
Damn it, you beat me to it, you little bastard.
Great mind.
So I was gonna bring up because I wanted to join you guys for the last one, but ended up having a family obligation last week that I couldn't make it. So I was gonna ask, why not just like Grey Worm and Unsullied float away, and John be like, "Yeah, I'm not going to the wall," or "I'm not being exiled." I mean, he'll still want to go north. He'll still want to do his thing, but it's like, Okay, bye. Okay, fuck off.
Like,
You know?
right, like Grey Worm actually thought he was gonna stay with his punishment. I mean, Grey Worm's not a stupid guy, and he's very good at reading people and situations. Like it really just made no sense.
How did Grey Worm sail to Noth? How the hell is he gonna get there? He's never navigated a ship. We talked about this on Monday, I think. But how?
No, it's a ship full of infantry who have never even been on a. Yeah, that was one of my, like, all of my moments of suspension of disbelief are like over technical things. It's like I freaked out in the scene in Braveheart when somebody's eating with a fork. Because nobody in that part of Europe had a fork at that point in time. But like other things, like dragons,
a pitchfork,
yeah,
bro.
dragons, whatever. You know, it's like, yeah, a bunch of infantry getting on a ship and sailing it. It's like, okay, yeah, you guys aren't even going to make it tonight. Even if you want to go to the island of the killer butterflies, you aren't even going to fucking make it there. Because you have no idea what you're doing. You're a bunch of landlubbers.
Oh yeah. I'll back Sasa up on that one. There's a video of him playing pool, having a bad time. But to DA's point, you know, to DA says even if his pecker is that small, who gives a F? He's married to Rose Leslie, for God's sakes. And hey, Danny McKay backs that up. Yeah, and size doesn't even matter, right? I mean, that's what I heard. Just saying.
Yeah, there was reports of him last year in New York. Yeah, because TMZ got a video of him in New York, like a pool hall, trying to fight people. And then I think there was like another time in Paris or something. So like, this isn't like, for me at least, it's not new information. But like, I'm glad that he actually is not moving. It's not going forward and continuing on to spiral down. That he's actually realized it in himself to do so. There was a funny comment. I don't know if you got it, John or Don, but OTDA said that he wants John St. Baptiste on the Iron Throne picture needs to be a shirt, and you have to wear it to con. It has to be worn at con. John St. Baptiste on the Iron Throne.
If somebody makes that T-shirt, A, I will buy it. B, I will wear it. You will see me in T-shirt.
Be on it. I'll be on it.
I was gonna say stand by. Who can make the contact first?
I know, literally. And
but funny. I do have to say, my favorite meme with the John passed out at con picture has to be the one that Amy Drew made.
Which one was that one again? I can't remember.
It has me leaning on the Battlestar. It took the picture and put it on the Battlestar, and it says, "In space, no one can hear you snore."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll
put it on the Battlestar, but
yeah, I made the base.
Amy made the tagline. She has another one too. Stage 4 slow clap. We got to get that one going as well. Shout out to Amy True.
Yes, she probably is asleep right now because she's not. It's not Friday.
She's in a rickshaw partying somewhere.
There's so many nice people in the chat. Now people are counting down like to con because that's coming up soon. I wonder who's gonna go to, like, in terms of like actors still, because seemingly only 4 actors are showing up.
Yeah, I know John Bradley and I can't remember her, Gilly. They're scheduled for Friday. I don't know who else. Nikolai.
Joe Dempsey, Nikolai, Hannah Murray, and John Bradley are confirmed for right now.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, because people, I think, in like Geek Chat or something, were like, "Who's else is like? Do we know if more people are showing up?" Most people are likely.
I heard Jose Martel will be there. I think we'll have to make one.
Jose Martel should show up to con because that'll just be so fun.
Do we have a name or a fake name for a random northern guy?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Isn't it Todrick Stark?
Is that Todrick Stark?
Yeah.
random northern guy.
Nice.
Yeah, because I think
They don't have a Sally Rivers.
the Gendry Rivers instead of waters, or waters instead of rivers, whatever it is. It's like,
Brother, how do you mix that up? Y'all have been in this universe for a decade. There's no way they should have mixed that up. Idiot.
And how do you mix up? He doesn't even deserve a last name. He's not
Exactly.
technically a highborn.
He was
Bastard.
never acknowledged. They
Yeah.
they basically gave all of his plot points. In the book, I think he's Edric, yeah.
Mhm.
So they combined that for the show.
yeah, I think they mixed the two of them together. What was it? The people wanting the Andy to come to con, the extra, and he was first. It was funny because when he spelled out who he was an extra for. First, he was an extra for Stannis, and he was in season 5 in Stannis' camp, and then he turned to Stark. And then I guess he stayed Stark all the way through after that. But first he was a Stannis camp member, which is kind of funny.
So he was one of the Stannis men that burnt out the back during the first Battle of Winterfell. Like when Stannis start and you see the troops, like someone say "fuck off" and start running backwards. That was Andy. That's my new headcanon. He was one that fucked back off to the wall.
It's like, I'm going.
I just thought of another rando name, Bundy Bolton.
That is so damn accurate. It is scary.
Well, technically, where are the houses in the Reach? Because I know Sam was technically watching, like, rule or head of the Reach or family wise, but we didn't really have a Reach family there besides him. Is there any other major families from down that way? Maybe he's a Hightower. Maybe he's Horton Hightower.
Kraken Hightowers.
Horatio Hightower. I don't know why that just sounds funny.
Speaking of fucking Highgarden, why was Bronn now the overlord of the Reach?
Most ridiculous shit ever.
Tyrion
First of
paid
all,
off.
he shouldn't. Now he was promised a castle. They gave him the one that's mostly responsible for all of the food in the kingdoms. Bronn isn't gonna know what to do with that shit. And he's a sellsword. He knows how to go kill and make money, but he should not be the master of coins just for that.
I have to beg to differ.
Oh, hang on. I have to let me get mine out, and then I'll let you disagree with both of us.
No, please.
Sorry.
And I'm
I
sorry.
absolutely, no. I absolutely agree with you, AK. Because you're saying back in season 3 when Tyrion is when Tyrion's master coin, and Bronn's like, "Oh, I don't understand finances." He's like, "Well, if I lend you money, you have to pay that money back." And this and Bronn's like, I just take the money. Like he doesn't understand it. So literally in 4 years, this guy's figured out how to run the finances of an entire fucking realm
with no training.
With no training. Yeah, I'm sorry. But go ahead, John. Sorry, I wanted to get that out, and I'm open to being shut down with it.
I always took that as an ironic statement because I think that's a sellsword's life. Is you're told you'll get paid once we go to this battle, and then you'll get your loot. Like, I always took it as an ironic statement in saying that. It's me personally that's, I guess you'd call it my headcanon. Also, Bronn makes, to me, what's the most financially sound decision. When Davos is saying we need ships, Bronn's like, we need brothels. And Brienne's like, oh, well, I think ships are more important than brothels. Then Bronn's like, how the fuck do you think you were going to pay for those ships?
Free labor, honestly. And there's trees.
I mean,
no, I'm just kidding, John.
I don't know. That's only one aspect. There's a lot more that goes into that. He still should not have Highgarden.
I mean, like Tyrion has a lot of work. Like he's doing the king's
Tyrion
job,
told me
the hand job.
Got it. I mean, deal was made. Hands were spit in. Hands were shaken. So you got to just work with what you got.
Well,
Like,
all
I don't
these other
think-
people got killed. Somebody could have killed Bronn.
Yeah. Who would have fulfilled everything that Bronn wanted? I guess is my question, but I don't know. Like, and then he's like, "Oh, because Braun gets to make pretty much all the financial decisions because he is master of coin." So
Exactly.
it's like he can basically veto everything, which makes no sense. But
Do you think he's going to be worse than Littlefinger?
Littlefinger is
I
sneaky though.
yeah, I was gonna say he'll be more honest than Littlefinger.
Do you think he's going to borrow all the Great Beater? I mean,
no matter what, any troubles that the small folk have, they will blame him, especially him as being an up jump sellsword. It'd be just like the Lord of Air, Rhaego Draws, when he got murdered with a stone in the streets and they cut off his fingers and took his rings. It's just that's who they are to blame. I'd say, as far as jobs, Brian got a good one and a horrible one because if shit goes wrong, they're blaming you.
if the shit goes down, you guys are ready.
He'd have to learn from Tyrion, I guess. I guess that's where you'd have to go with it. Like Tyrion would have to show him the ropes. Whatever that
and I
may
think
be.
it's a safe pick to put Bronn in that position because Tyrion knows he'll have to learn from him. He'll have to basically follow his lead and do what he says because Bronn knows he doesn't know, so he has to take the right steps on it. So, and I think the better is a objective or subjective term in terms of Littlefinger. Littlefinger was a great master coin because he could find the money. If the money needed to be found, he could find it. The problem is he might have done some shady dealing and spent it or taken it or philandered it in the wrong ways. Braun, if he can't find the money, there's not going to be money. So it's what's your viewpoint on is there unlimited wealth or does there actually have to be a budget? So it's kind of the give and take. So I think he'll be equal in a different way to Littlefinger's success.
I'm still struggling to understand why Tyrion didn't just have Bronn killed. After the conversation with Tyrion and Jaime and Bronn, it didn't seem like he was going to be genuine with anything that they gave him. I would have just cut his throat, or pushed him into the narrow sea, something. He would not have had the rewards that he has now. I don't think he's worth that shit.
Yeah, like Braun just kind of is just a confusing character in the end because he showed up literally for 3 scenes and like that's it. So
Well, he should have used the crossbow, right? That should have at least been used on someone.
Mhm.
Who?
Yeah, Chekhov's gun style thing. If you introduce a gun in the first act, it better damn well be used by the third act.
They introduced it in the first episode too, right? And it wasn't used in the third act, so you could say it'd never be used at that point, but it still needs to come into play and not be used. Other than, I don't know, I would think him killing one of the brothers right there.
Question. John, you just brought it up. My favorite season 8 tinfoil question. Did Qyburn put out the hit or did Cersei?
Did Qyburn put out what?
The hit on Jaime and Tyrion.
It was Cersei. They showed her giving him that order.
No, they never show her telling him to have. They say she wants them killed. They say she wants them dead, but they never actually show her giving that order. Like to me, it always came across as kind of like a rhetorical type of fuck my brothers.
But the order never mattered. Nothing mattered with it. That's what's so messed up about it. It didn't matter. Even if Cersei didn't order it, it doesn't matter because Bronn never did anything with it, and nothing ever came of it. Even Cersei didn't kill Tyrion right there. But that's them trying to exacerbate the Cersei's the better person at this point, I guess. And then she lops off Melisandre's head. So whatever. Go ahead, AK.
Missandei, damn it.
Missandei.
You don't
Missandei is D&D color. Missandei. Like what? Or at least David calls him Missandei.
Yeah, I don't know on that one. I think I'll have to go back and research that scene. It seemed to me like it was an order, that she would have given. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Either way, the two actors supposedly can't be on screen together, so it doesn't really matter. Like, dude,
Sorry.
like, so it's like, if she did or she didn't, it's like, yes, and I think we brought this up on when we were talking about the episode, but it seems like they even probably had it in their contract that they couldn't even be superimposed on the same scene together. Like, it went to that, like, extreme, or else they probably would have shown her telling him to do it. But like, if that was that way, but I also could see like Kyburn's like a sneaky person and would just say to do it offhand.
See, and I was kind of thinking along the lines of Kyburn is not a political player. He's a intellect. He's a science thinker. That's what he cares about, and he cares about following what. And he's a rule follower to a point. He'll follow the rules until he deems he has to go outside of them for the benefit of the good, of the betterment of his science. I don't think he, is the type to even give a shit about Jamie and Tyrion. He's not that schemer. He's not that style of person to even have that thought. So when he says the queen wants this to happen, and knowing Cersei's background and her history, yeah, I'm gonna take it at face value that he, ended up, just is following orders because what's his end game to making that call? I guess
No, I
behind her
agree.
back.
I was talking about the way the scene was shot.
Oh, I got you. Well, yeah, the scene was shot just because, basically, like, yeah, Kenzie had said that that Cersei and Bronn can't be on the same.
Hey, I get it.
Yeah, so, sorry.
When my son was still a minor, it hit a point with his mother where if she wanted to contact me, she had to call her lawyer. Her lawyer called my lawyer, and my lawyer called me.
That's great.
Yeah, it really healthy relationship there.
Yeah.
Or reverse. If I want to communicate something to her, like, and this is something as simple as like, I'm going to be 10 minutes late to pick up kid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I get it. I totally get the whole like Lena and
Wrong thing.
Yeah, dynamic. I understand you don't even want to be in the same room with this person.
Well,
But
say if you want me to confirm that Cersei sent the hit, I would say she did it for the love of the child, hoping if it does happen, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I know she had reservations about Bronn, but wanted to get him out of the city, kind of what y'all are talking about. I think she had to sell that baby as Euron's. I think she
I
was
was going
thinking
to
about
ask,
the baby.
did that come after the Euron scene?
Either way, she was gonna have to sell it, right? She's probably thinking
True.
about it already. But that's my opinion on it.
I think it was. I think it was after the Euron scene.
It
with
might
her.
have been spliced between those because I think we get all of our stuff in the north and then we go to Cersei with Euron and like Yara, and then it's the one time that Harry Strickland ever gets to talk, and then we go to Bronn in the middle of it or something because I think there's a cut between when the first part of that scene and then the second time we catch back up with her. I think there's like a split in there. I can't.
I think you're right when she gives the head nod because it doesn't go just straight head nod to drinking the wine. There's a scene in between. You're right, and I think you might be right about that.
Did anybody see Moon Boy in the bed? I saw him.
For all I know.
For all I know.
Yeah, like I don't know. the Danny McKay asked about Small Council. It's in the same place that it was all those like every single season. So
They
It's the hand of the
fixed that
hand.
place
The
after
hand's
shit.
tower of the hand.
well, it
Was it
wasn't
Cylon? I thought it was in the Red Keep.
because
That
isn't
was
it-
the tower room. That was every time when Tywin, because they moved it to there when Tywin took over. Because originally it was in the small council room off the throne room, and then when Tywin took over, it was in that room because he wanted it closer to his. He didn't want to have to go as far, so that was
Okay.
actually the Tower of the Hand. Yeah.
But it had
Okay,
the
gotcha.
floor map in that room, I thought.
What's
I
that?
don't know. I thought the floor
The
map
floor
was
map
in
room was
there.
in the Red Keep. Was
I
in
know, but
Maegor's Keep, or no, not Maegor's.
I don't
There we go.
know. I don't know.
it's somewhere.
It doesn't matter, does it?
But no,
I believe you, Ben. I'm conflated at this point anyway.
there's some funny things in the chat. And also, thank you everybody for wishing me happy birthday. I feel so loved, and it's
Yeah, it's his birthday.
it was my birthday yesterday.
Another day, Gemini.
Yep, me and my split personality. It's me and Sassy Santa.
May you live long and prosper.
Somebody should start the song.
No, okay. Copy.
Oh, you're talking different song. I was going with the Live Long and Prosper song, the Star Trek thing.
Nothing matters. Yeah, nothing matters.
Nothing really. I can't sing that either. Copyright.
Nothing
Really matter.
No,
even
you can't sing. No, we can't hum stuff either. People have been
Yeah.
getting banned for humming. So
Oh,
no,
Jesus.
just
like people,
everybody
like
for
people,
future reference. If you hum the wrong thing, you will get 3 months of.
Oh, trust me, I
listening.
sing so bad, you ain't ever going to copyright.
No. They
And
just
happy
have to.
birthday song is actually public domain.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I was singing Nothing Really Matters. I was going with
It's going with a Queen song. Can't do it.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah,
yeah.
No.
still copyrightable.
So
Can we get copyrighted if I air piano it? Because
I don't.
As long as you don't make any noise.
Yeah.
Either way. Sasa, do you want to get into Danny, the ultimate heel? Do y'all love it? Hate it? I saw it coming. Sasa saw it coming, but the way it happened, I could definitely have an issue with.
Yeah.
Especially,
Yeah, it's the
after
it's
the
the way the
bell.
whole thing went down.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's really the journey. If Danny is supposed to end up being the Mad Queen, then that's fine. I wasn't expecting happy-go-lucky endings at all, but it's the way they executed that action happening. It didn't make sense, but that's just my opinion.
I thought about it today as I was just sitting here and I think I watched like a Danny, like someone had put like Danny scenes in like a video, like tribute videos. And I just like thought about it and it clicked in my head. It's like, what if the bigger twist in this whole thing is that like somehow Danny was the one to kill John instead? Like that would have been like, and it's like, haha, I've like secured supreme power, but then it wouldn't like, and that's how he would have left the story, is like her like on this massive power trip, and we wouldn't know exactly how it ended. But it's the other way around. I mean, how it ended, I feel like it was how the story needed to go, so that we would have the quote unquote the bastard in hiding go back basically into hiding, like get revealed for 5 seconds to go back into hiding.
The bastard in hiding.
Literally, that's what he was. He was like he's the one in hiding, because like Danny was pretty much just out there, just because Robert knew about her, so she was just out there and all this stuff. But like John was just being hidden away, for like 18 years. Well, pretty much until you could say until he was like what 23-ish in the show timeline. So it's like he's hidden away for this much amount of time, just to be like, hey, and then it's like it doesn't matter in the end. So it's just like to go back and not even matter anymore.
Yeah, if it would have ended up being the other way around, then Danny would still end up dying because Arya would shank her ass quickly, and no one would knew what happened because Arya would be out of the damn kingdom and nobody would be able to catch her or probably even suspect her because I don't think anyone would see her actually do the deed.
No, because it's assumed that I guess John just like fessed up to the crime of murdering Danny.
He
So
did. Well, he
He
wanted to
did.
get,
He told on himself.
he's
he
like,
wanted to get back to tormenting that baby seal, right?
I saw like now there's like art because I've seen it on like Instagram floating around that Drogon took Danny to go to Kinvara so that Danny could have the same thing that John did by Melisandre. That's where Drogon was taking her. I mean, that would have been like an interesting twist. It's like if the episode was longer and we saw
That
like
and if she would have gone, if he would have taken her to Old Valyria. You know, there's still, I think, all types of magical randomness going on over there. So I could see some red priests being there, probably Kinvara, and, you know, she could give the kiss of life. And then we have to see if she would change or not. You know, John didn't seem to have that much difference in his personality after being brought back, but to compare that with Barrick, he knew he was absolutely losing parts of himself. So I don't know, it'd be interesting to see how that would play out on Danny's side if she was resurrected.
I kind of always took the resurrection stuff kind of like going to a Harry Potter reference, but the Horcruxes. One, Horcrux doesn't really affect you. It keeps you immortal. It keeps you the one rebirth. You're okay. You're pretty much normal. But like with Barrick, he's gone through 7 times, so he's had multiple distinctions of his soul or whatever, his being taken away and left behind. So that's why he was so different from his original thing. So I think over multiple times it would make a big, you leave something in the afterlife every time you're brought back. So that's the way I've kind of always read that part. But with the Danny thing, kind of like Johnny, you guys have seen me, the progression of this. My love for Danny, I said this as soon as it happened. I fucking called it. I knew this would happen. She's the mad fucking queen, and I hate it. I was mad that I was right. Because I was hoping that maybe I wouldn't be, because the way they did it, like AK said, I'm not mad that it actually happened. It's just how rushed and how just not. I don't know. The only episode this entire series that I just was actually mad after watching was episode 5. I was on AK's stream. She saw me how heated I was. After that, I just like first time through. I watched it again. I was like, okay, this. I'm okay with it now. Like the second time through, but the first time it pissed me off, and because I knew kind of how they're building. So it's everything that needed to happen did happen. I did see a great meme the week later of season 7 and 8 should have been Battle of the Night King, like Fight for the North, Fight of the Night King. Season 9 should have been taking on Cersei. And season 10 should have been Danny's launched into madness at the end of season 9 and figuring that all out, ending on season 10. It should have been drawn out that far, that much, because that's what we got the first 7 seasons.
I'm going to tell you in the books, the Battle for the Others ain't going to last more than a few chapters. I'm going to tell you that straight up.
Yeah,
I know. The same way. The real threat's the people in the story. But it's like I said, it was slow. How fast, the way they did it. And
it just felt, and I'm not. And no, I agree. It's not the acting. It's not the show production or anything like that. It's and not even the writing. The dialogue was phenomenal when there was actually dialogue, but it's just the storyline was just not good. Like, or just wasn't up to par. I shouldn't say not good. Wasn't up to what I hoped.
They literally say that they like to showcase the actors' facial expressions, and that's what they do. But they're not really experienced TV writers. Honestly, this is their first main gig that was of any worth. Anyways, I know other stuff in the past has been failed too, but they just get into letting the looks of the actors, and you can see that if you go back and look at it, it's like, oh my god, they're just doing a silent movie right here.
Well, like I found it hilarious. Literally, episode 3, they even called it out. There's 3 scenes of dialogue in that entire episode, 82 minutes or 84 minutes. 3 scenes of dialogue, which is fine. It's a battle sequence. Great. But episode 6, the wrap-up, it was like the second quietest episode in the entire series, behind episode 3. And I'm like, no, just, I need that closure. And
I have to say the first 20 minutes of this episode was the best part. There's no dialogue or hardly.
No, I absolutely disagree. I felt it was just filler. It was setting the mood that just didn't need to be set. It was already there. For me, the best part of the last episode was the small council, where we actually get the political intrigue and the dialogue and the debate. I didn't like the outcome of it, but
I think that was great. But the whole, like, the first 20 minutes when they're just walking through the city and you just see all this death and like to me, that was moving. That was you didn't even dialogue would have ruined it.
Yeah, it would have, but
You
they
don't
should
need
have
to
made
say
it.
like, oh, it's crazy. You just need to look at the like dead baby corpse.
Yes, but they don't have more seasons and any more episodes to work with. And you need more filler to set up things for the end. Why the hell is Bran king? Which I can still see it. I've been rereading the books. There's stuff there that points to it. There's definite stuff that points to Dany turning. She even thinks in her own head, is she like Viserys? And she has this struggle.
Well, I think the first book tells the end of the story.
Well, of course, but I mean, in general, they just
No, and I think it starts with Bran, and it's going to end with Bran. And I think you see Dany's crazy, like right away.
Now, see, I wouldn't say that, there were signs that she was crazy right away, because she actually, grapples with being a good ruler, and she knows what her father did. She knows he was batshit crazy. So she kind of anchors herself to that, so she doesn't try to fall into that at all. I can say there's definitely times where she's been ruthless, absolutely, but I don't think it was signs of her going crazy. Like, people were saying like all the people she burned in Marine or in Yunkai, these were slavers that wanted to continue the slave trade, and also go after her. Piet Pretty, when she was in the House of the Undying, he wanted to keep and trap her there. So yeah, Dracarys, bitch, I'm out.
True,
when
but
she's trying to keep.
My one thing, and this is me being a grammar nerd, and I just want to bring up, and then I will shut up. Look at how often anything involving Dany's chapters uses the personal pronoun I. It's never we, it's never us, it's never you. It's always I. And I did a reread right after I watched this of just Dany's chapters.
And my whole
and Dany uses the personal pronoun I like constantly, absolutely constantly. She uses the personal pronoun.
Yeah.
What ruler doesn't?
Well, yeah, and I do agree with you on that, AK, but that's a great point, John. She probably does it. I've never really thought about it, never looked deep into it, but I wouldn't be surprised on that. My whole thing with Dany to this last season, I go back to her outside the gates of Karth. Because this is the first time. Karth is really where, because I like season 1 Dany. I like book 1 Dany. She's a victim, but she's trying to find her place. She's trying to find her role. But it's when she gets to Karth outside the gates, she's desperate. She's, lost everything. She has nothing, and she cannot humble herself. She's never been able to humble herself, in the sense of letting, showing some weakness, showing anything, and where this season ended up going, that's exactly the same feeling I got from her, and I'm glad that they did it that way because that's what they needed to do. But that's where early in the series is where I've picked up on, the end where she ended because she said, you're going to let me in and I'm going to kill it, or if you don't let me in, I'm going to come back here with my dragons and burn everything down when they're fully grown and everything like this. And it's like, or you could just be humble and show them a dragon, more flies with honey kind of thing. And that was her whole point in this very last scene with John of, well, I'm going to tell them what's right. Well, what if they don't agree with you? But I'm right. It's like, no, that's not how this works. It's the same exact kind of mentality with her outside of Karth. And that was the start of it. Then she did the honorable stuff with the Yunkai and the Marinese and all that, killing the masters and the slavers and doing all that. But in Karth, they weren't doing anything bad. They were respectful, peaceful people. They were just telling her no, and that she just doesn't, the dude doesn't abide, with that.
With that, they were telling her no because she was refusing to automatically bring out the dragons for them to view. They'd heard the rumors, they wanted to see if it was true, and ultimately they wanted to take those dragons. Payat Pri just happened to be the first one that actually went after it and almost did trap her. Until, she figured out, no, I can absolutely do better than this. You want to cross me? Well, here you go, Dracarys. And she walked the fuck out of that tower and kept it pushing. I don't see that as an act of madness. They literally wanted to keep her prisoner to leech off of her magic. And there's a multitude of situations to truly explain her thought pattern and what she was doing. And I don't think it meant madness. Like the whole thing with Randall and Dickon, they had a choice. They had a choice. Even after, Dickon came up and still didn't listen to his dad, didn't listen to Tyrion. So what do? You follow through on what you say was going to happen, and the rest of those people fall in line. It's the same shit that Aegon did in the Field of Fire. Okay, you don't want to, not the Field of Fire, but with Harrenhal. You want to come out here and talk shit and insult me, and you think that's going to help you? No, it's not. Dracarys, and we saw how the fuck Harrenhal ended up. Dany, and I'm just saying that it absolutely was not right for killing the innocent people in King's Landing. That's absolute. I've always said that since we watched the episode. But all of the other things that people are using as excuses, like Marine and Yunkai, and the Wise Masters, the Harpies, all of that, the Dothraki calls even. They literally wanted to enslave her and repeatedly rape her. That's what they wanted to use her as. So no, you get them motherfuckers the hell out of there. Everyone sees that power and they fall into line, and boom, Daenerys is the stallion that mounts the world. She's always been told, her family was supposed to be ruling. Granted, Viserys was off his rocker, but she's acting accordingly, I think, in the way her family, quote unquote, would have acted. But she does, try to check herself and make sure and try to do things for people, good things like freeing slaves and whatnots. And coming over to Westeros was definitely different because Westeros is a different political structure than Essos was. But I don't think all of those actions led up to madness. Burning all of the supplies and whatnots when she went into the field for Field of Fire 2.0. That is a war tactic. Cersei, all that food was only there because Cersei wanted to do the same thing to her that she ultimately did to Cersei. Get rid of the food supply.
Yep.
I'm not saying that she shouldn't have gone mad or that she could not have gone mad, but the way they did it, it was executed horribly, and that's why I can't buy that storyline.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of my feeling on it too. Because, like I said, I don't like the Mad Queen moniker for her because I said it because I'm not intelligent enough to figure out a term that I want to call her. It's just the easiest that I can use, calling her the Mad Queen, kind of like that. For before, like bookwise Danny, for seeing this, or before season 8, Danny, I'd call her the Mad Queen just to be a dick. But I never thought of her as a Mad Queen. I mean, she was always just that egotistical, power hungry. It's my way, and so I think the final scene actually showed it best of her, of my feeling towards Danny, because it's
Are
always
you
been
talking about the
about.
Nuremberg scene?
No, after I'm even talking with the John scene with her and John,
Okay.
where he's like, we have to go and free everybody. We have to, show them the right way. Well, what if they don't think the right way is? What if they don't think your way is the right way? Well, it is the right way. It's they're going to. It's her that egotistical side of it. It's not the mad queenness of burning civilians. And I think the mad queen thing, like you said, AK, that's the problem I have the problem with her burning the innocents and everything like that. I liked that last scene with her because that was the true side of Danny. It was the egocentric, the just I am who I am, and that's the way everybody has to be, kind of thing. And that's always been my issue with it, but it was done very well in that part, in that scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we talked about this last week. I mean, and this is my criticism of season 8. They went from A to C without touching B.
Mm-hmm. They kind of, I mean, they slightly hinted at it in 4 when Danny was like, basically turning into or having her mini Viserys moment where she sees John being celebrated and all these different people being celebrated and no one's talking to her. Yes, as we know now, there was supposed to Jorah was still actually supposed to be alive. In this, like in the original script, I believe he was still he was supposed to have survived the battle for Winterfell, or the Battle of Winterfell, and like all the way up till the very end. And even he wasn't even talking to her. He was like talking to some just Northmen or something like that. So it's like, I mean, I get it. And then when she's talking to John, I guess in his chambers, because I presume that they would have had separate. And she's like, "Don't tell them. Like, don't say anything." And all of this stuff. It's like having this, like, they don't love me the way you love you. That's where it was like starting to be hinted at that she was turning mad per se, or like at least having those thoughts of.
Well, I think there have been hints dropped through the entire series.
Yeah, but that was where they really started to ramp that up.
Yeah.
And then by the end of that episode, she loses Rhaegal in the stupidest way possible, but she loses Rhaegal, the injured dragon, who should have been with his rider, but that's besides the point. And
They should have been chilling at Winterfell, healing up.
yeah, or at least with John, like at least flying in on the mainland and not with Danny. But I guess you gotta have Mother of Dragons with her dragons. And then she like loses Missandei, loses Jorah. The only person she can technically trust is Grey Worm, but he's not like the easiest person probably to talk to like that. So I can see why they did it. It just should have been like we're all kind of saying it should have been explained a lot better. And yes, Ben, when she's standing outside of Karth, that is the episode, I believe, Garden of Bones, I think it is, or something like that.
I think we all agree that
you're correct.
Was a bit too rushed.
Like if they were, this is so like going back now, it's like they could have like cut into like season 7 and start to do this type of storyline, but I mean, I get it. And like I guess it's kind of hard to kind of be like, oh, it should have been done this, it should have been done better, but the way that it like did it, it almost showed us that it was an instantaneous snap in her, like that it wasn't just this thing that she's been planning for months. It was just like this thing of, all right, I'm gonna snap. So
yeah, the Mad King was the Mad King over a large span of time. He didn't really start being messed up in the head until he was trapped in Duskendale in the dungeon, tortured for a year. And then after that, yeah, shit was never the same. His psyche was completely warped. Probably because of Bran. Fuck you, Bran. But that's basically it. They showed that explanation. They didn't do that with Dany.
No, I totally see where you're coming from. Like, I absolutely do. I think that the snap moment, as you said, was, yeah, exactly that. And I agree there. But I do have to say that I think from season 1, there have been hints dropped that Dany's really going to go batshit insane. That she's a megalomaniacal sociopath, as opposed to her brother, who was a megalomaniacal psychopath.
Yeah. It'll just be that different madness. Plus,
and the most terrifying thing to me about this entire season, honestly, is when Dany's speaking to Jon and she's like, well, if they want things different, then they're wrong. Like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to go into a political diatribe, but we see this in our current culture nowadays from so many people. Like, if they don't think the way I do, then they're wrong. And that's terrifying. Like, that philosophy, that mentality is absolutely terrifying to me.
Yeah, true enough. Yeah, I'll give you that.
yeah, there's Dany. I mean, there's, I think, really why they made her go very mad in the latter part was because of that confirmation and that realization that she, yes, the secret is quote unquote out between just them, like the 4 people that know. Sure, she can kind of live with that, but the fact that then Jon has to tell everybody else, and that spawns more people to know, means that she's no longer the sole person that is of House Targaryen anymore, and that there was somebody else that was taking the spotlight. He is the son of her eldest brother, that was one of the best people that a lot of people knew, barring the North, but like one of the best people who had a lot of promise to be king and all of these other things before his untimely death by Robert Baratheon. So it's that fact of she's getting all of this thrown at her, and it's just the thing of just, I just have to like it break. And it's to kind of, I guess, pay off what her dad never got to do, in a sense, by taking complete domination over it, which I can kind of get. And I feel like there was a question from Katrina Torres in the chat of it being in the books. I can see it that way, especially because if Dany doesn't really know about Aegon, or quote unquote Fagon, really. And there's that whole thing, like that dynamic has to play out a lot more, which will be very interesting. My only kind of gripe with her speech, beside it being very much Hitler inspired, which Amelia said she had to look at speeches from him to
Yes,
prepare.
somebody gave me shade for saying on I think it was our last live stream.
Mhm.
Somebody gave me shade for saying that it reminded me of the Nuremberg Will of the People film.
Yeah,
And they're like,
she,
oh, so like somebody strong stands up and they talk, and I'm like, no, this is like a dictator speaking to their subjects.
she like, yeah, Amelia.
Then Clark comes out and is like, yeah, well, I studied film of Hitler and Stalin. giving your
Mussolini,
speech.
like all of these people who've given dictator speeches. Like she said, she had to do that. So like, I mean, it's not that, but the one thing that I like, no one actually like really talked about very much, and we don't have to go on this long diatribe about it. But the fact that there's Dothraki/Valyrian words for Winterfell, Dorne, Lannisport, Karth, Summer Isles, and something else. It's like, what? It's like, I don't, like, what? I'm just like, because she's like from, like, but it, or not words, but it's like with, like, said in an accent like that. So I'm just like, what? Like, I guess it's to make it more menacing than saying da 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 Winterfell and da 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 Dorne and like all of this stuff. But I'm just like, what? Like,
That is actually a good thought. I
Yeah.
hadn't do that before, but I do got to roll out. Bam. So thanks for having me on, Kenzie. Glad you had a good name day, and I was here for it. Chat room, appreciate y'all. I'm gonna catch y'all in the next one.
Have a great night, AK.
yeah, thank you.
Not
Okay. Yeah. So
So, hang, I'm looking for this photo I had seen earlier.
is it the John and the?
No, it's
Okay,
what?
can I ask you a question, Mackenzie? Because
Yes.
I know how much of a Sansa fan you are.
Hmm?
This may be an uncomfortable question.
Okay.
So, hang on one second, John. Before you ask, I don't think they were copying Hitler as much as they were copying Star Wars. Because look at this. It's straight up. I think it was Last of the Jedi, I believe. Dog Show could prove me wrong on that. I've only seen the movie once. But, like, shot for shot, just, I saw that. I was like, yeah, I think D&D are just getting ready for their Disney overlords.
That's right.
Trying to stick up to them. All right.
Very
Nice.
Anyway.
Nice.
I mean,
Now, okay, so, Mackenzie, I know how much you love Sansa.
yes.
There is this theory out, which
Mhm.
I tend to agree with, that Sansa is indirectly just as responsible for the destruction of King's Landing as Dany is.
Yeah, she played
She
Littlefinger.
couldn't keep her mouth shut.
Yeah, because she's Littlefinger, student of Littlefinger. She's Littlefinger reincarnated. Like, what did Littlefinger do in season 1? Gets Ned to be all trusting, and then boom, gets like the whole thing with basically getting him to go to prison, which leads him to be executed. Like, it's the same thing. Yes, it's a bad thing, but that's what basically Sansa in. That's what they've been saying all kind of season. Like Arya, especially like, when she's talking about Sansa, it's like Sansa's not going to stand by this. Even Dany admitted she's like Sansa's not going to stop until she sees you on the throne. And
in front of a weirwood tree.
I know they'll just. I know, but like they didn't like make that such a big deal in the show. Like they didn't make that like a huge thing. Like they should, if they were gonna make that a big thing, then they would have brought it up. But they did make it this huge thing. And plus, I think I talked about it on Monday with Johnny and John AU, where it's like the fact that it was Bran systematically doing all of these things. Like, it was John's secret, but Dawn didn't tell it. It was Bran that did it, and then it's like Sansa found out. But it's the thing of, and I've said it pretty much since the scene when it happened, is they had to pin the reveal of John's parentage to everybody else on somebody, and the easiest person to do that is Sansa. Arya's not going to do it. Bran doesn't care. He can say it to anybody if he's allowed to say it to somebody. Evidently, he'll say it to somebody. So it's just systematically they have to say it to somebody. And Danny even says it in that episode. It's like she won't stop until she sees you on the Iron Throne, and pretty much she wants me gone. So the easiest thing to do is just to have her say John's secret to, because like they explained it in the behind the episode. It's like when Sansa tells someone, she tells Tyrion, and then when Tyrion's not going to keep that secret for very long, so she tells Varys. It's
No, we're talking about the semantics here. I'm asking an ethical question, a moral question. Is Sansa just as responsible as Daenerys for the destruction of King's Landing?
by what angle are you looking at it, though? By the fact
because
of, like,
she knew bitch would go bad shit.
Well, she read her as a ticking time bomb when she first walked up with the flocked up with the dragon. She's like, okay, this is not going to stand. When she asks her like, what's a dragon mean? She says anything that they want, and then the conversation when she's like, what about the North? And it's like when Dany pulls her hand away, it's like no, like basically saying no. So it's like, all right, well, once I know XYZ about who John is, I'll basically just do whatever I need to do. And if that had to be the burning of King's Landing, she had to do it. I mean,
Yeah, as DA in the chat said, I was going to bring this up. You play the Game of Thrones, you win or you die. There's no middle ground, and Sansa won. Perfectly said. No, she is not as responsible as Dany, because Dany had the dragons. Dany had the right to not burn the city. Sansa planted the seed, and she watched where that seed grew. That's all she did. She's not responsible.
So she's more responsible.
No, because Dany was already having her mental issues. I'm not gonna say madness. She was having her mental issues already, and because she was already concerned with John being all, because had John not told Sansa, she still would have had that mental, inclining that I'm still not, there'd be this trust factor. There would always be in there. So no, I don't think Sansa's as guilty. Is she somewhat responsible? Maybe a scotch. I'll give it somewhat a scotch, but fully or as, no.
yeah, because it's just because she was the student of Littlefinger, like we're all kind of saying, and the fact that she could plausibly figure out what was going to happen, and she didn't go like, not this isn't the whole thing of her going like, ha ha, I did it. It's just like, no, it's just the fact that she planted that seed, like by saying, in the fact that she may do something bad, and that's why she was worried for a lot for John when he was going down into with King's Landing and everything, about like the whole thing about Starkmen don't travel well when they travel south, and she knew that this was probably going to happen. My kind of biggest gripe with people when they say about like, Santa just won because she won the North because she wanted power. Everybody could have asked Bran nicely, I might add, if they wanted to have their own kingdom. She was the only one that was like, can I have my own kingdom? Like, sure. If Yara wanted, she could have her own kingdom.
That was one of my other big beefs with the last episode. Like, you would think the Iron Islanders would be like, come on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, the Erie, the Reach, all of that. I think they'd be like, okay, hey, we're all in the same landmass, and
yeah. So I wanted to ask,
and we need somebody who like, I do like this concept of parliamentary rule. We didn't talk about this last week, but Edmure starts it, but they're making fun of like actual democracy.
Yeah,
it really literally reflects the Magna Carta.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I wanted to bring up to the chat though, or to the panel here, your guys' feelings on it. How do you feel about the do nothing option being the best option for Bran? Because he literally did nothing and gets the throne.
I mean, I mean, if you systematically see everything that's gonna happen, you'll be like, all right.
Yeah, talk about future. Talk about 1984 future. You were now convicted of future crime. You thought you conspired against your overlord or your liege lord, and now because he can see everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now we have Westeros, 1984. There we go.
And I jokingly said this, but it's like if ever Bran has to go to like the throne room and has to deal with small folk squabbles, he can be like, "Well, both of you were wrong. You get nothing, or like you get whatever you want, and you get whatever you want." It's just like he'll deal with like that like thing, like because you can see everything and know everything, so he'll just like be like shut everybody down in all of those meetings that Danny's like it takes the hours and hours and hours. Like the one time, when she was in Marine, and like Bran will be like, "Give me," it's like, "How many people are here?" Like say 100. Okay, give me about an hour and a half. And he'll just like deal with all of them. And like, you get this, it's like it'll just be like one of those like weird things like that.
Sit down, shut up, take what I gave you.
Yeah, exactly. It won't be like this long diatribe of like having like a court or whatever. It's like, let me hear your side and let me hear your side, like kind of thing about things. It'll just be like, I already know how this is gonna resolve. You get this and you get that. But yeah, that's the one thing that people are like, oh, she's power hungry because it's like her brother is king already of the Seven Kingdoms. It's like she asked and she got what she wanted. All you have
No,
to do is
I think honestly, Sansa just wants what's best for the North.
Mhm.
Like, I really think she could give bugger all about everybody else.
Mhm.
About the area, certainly about King's Landing. Like, she could give bugger all. On the other hand, I don't want to turn this into a huge discussion, but there are so many ramifications about this decision that was made about how the country is going to be ruled now. Like, it honestly might be worse, because now the Game of Thrones is going to be 10 times the Game of Thrones. Even if there's no throne, who's going to fight for the wheelchair? And how are they going to fight for the wheelchair?
they just have to keep finding people who are crippled.
Well, and then on top of it, I love how Bran doesn't mention, well, yeah, the last Red Raven lived for a couple hundred years. He lived for a century, multiple. No, but he lived for a long ass fucking time. And he just, yeah, we'll find a new ruler once you die. Yeah, you're gonna outlive 7 generations. Okay, sure. Let's see if he remembers that to pass that information along.
Yeah, it'll be like,
No, but I'm talking about, like, when Bran dies. It makes me think of the Medicis. It makes me think of like Florence and the in the 14th century, in the Medicis, and the collapse of the Papal Empire, and like I honestly think like Tyrion's heart might be in the best place, but I think this might be the worst solution. Because there's no infrastructure. There's no background. There are no checks and balances. There are no. It's like, oh hey, we'll just the lords and ladies will vote on a king. Well, look at 14th century England and please tell me how well that worked out.
yeah.
Because
I mean, it was the easiest person that we could put on for now. Like, we'll deal with it when it comes. If there's ever a sequel, like hundreds of years in the future, we'll figure.
No,
that out.
I agree. Like, you look at, I said this the other day when we were talking.
Mm-hmm.
You look at that circle of people. Like, Bran is your best fucking option. Like Davos, he'd be like, nope, sorry, not gonna do that. Who would be the best, by the way? Everybody else is like either an idiot, power hungry, or both.
Yeah, and you're not wrong. He is the best option. I'm not a fan of the, of him being the best option, but it does logistically and literally, or whatever, literally, whatever, book wise, makes sense. He's the, character that this whole story was started with, so it makes sense for him to be the final character, as you said.
No, that's what
But
I've said for years.
I just don't like. Again, it's the rushedness. It's they didn't show. Oh well, I have to go now. During Battle of Winterfell, the fuck you go? You didn't do anything. You literally closed your eyes, and he's done nothing except told his story. He went north of the Wall, stayed there for a year or two, and came back. TV show wise, he's done nothing to earn this except for, oh, I'm the memory. Well, who's to say you're the memory? Well, I do because I'm the memory. There's no payoff except for confirming John's parentage. That's it.
Poor, sweet, hot, beautiful Mira Reed.
Yeah, like Mira didn't get nothing for all she did.
And no Howland.
Sorry, I know she's like half my fucking age, but she's a beautiful young lady.
I guess they never confirmed who the extra men were, but you can assume that the person between Sam and Edmure might have been.
Sorry, you kind of froze on that, Ken.
That's
Ken,
the
you
thing.
kind of froze there.
Oh, the person between Sam and Edmure might have been Howland Reed, but they never you think he's listed as man 2 on.
If they would have just said that, I would have been. That would have made the entire season. I'm not gonna lie. That or a Nymeria Wolfpack, because then I wouldn't have had to chug a goddamn Heineken on stream. But getting just Howland Reed, sitting there, saying Howland, and just not even say Howland Reed, just Howland. What do you think? That's all you have to do.
Yeah.
Very simple.
It was man number 2, I believe.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's one of those weird things. But I put it in the chat, and they haven't really talked about it. I may have to do another poll again. I thought this would be a clear winner, but clearly there wasn't because multiple people voted. So I'll say it now, and I'll wait till the end. But we have now to pick between Stranger Things and Westworld. Everybody in the chat gets to pick what we're going to do, because we're going to start that next week. If it's Stranger Things, we have a plan, because I know it comes out 4th of July and it's all of the episodes. We're going to work that out if it is Stranger Things that wins, but if it's Westworld, then we know what we're doing with that. So
Can I make my suggestion or vote? If I would personally go Stranger Things first, burn it up, kind of, or try. Actually, I would kind of hold off, maybe do bits here and there, maybe 2 episodes a week. Just my suggestion. Kind of catch up, but then just do season 3, and then we catch all the way up and do it. Because with Westworld, it's only coming out in 2020. That's all we know. So we got way more time to work with Westworld to do it. So it could easily be done with both. But Stranger Things, yeah, that would be one. I don't know the plan you have in place, but it'd be a lot harder. But I would say, or with Stranger Things, but I think you could do both easily. Just it would take a little bit of time, or take a little effort.
Yeah, they're still kind of divided in the chat, so I think
I don't have a pony in this race because I've not watched either show at all.
You would dig Westworld. I think you would enjoy Stranger Things. Just knowing your style, you would enjoy it just for the nostalgia and kind of the style of it. I don't think you would fall in love with it, but I think you would enjoy it. Westworld, I think I could see you dive in kind of headlong into it if you got into it. I'm kind of enjoy both of them. I haven't dove deep into either, but I don't overthink stuff. you overthink a lot, and that's not a dig at you. That's a great personality trait. Westworld is the one to definitely overthink and.
I've got Good Omens coming up, which I've read the book like 20 times, but
What you've read? What Westworld?
Good
no,
Omens.
Good Omens.
Good Omens.
On my channel, we've Good Omens coming up.
Gotcha.
And so that's like my next 6 weeks, and I only have so much time. Westworld and Stranger, like I really want to watch Westworld. Stranger Things, I've not had any interest in, except for the external interest of everyone who, like yourself, tells me, like, John, you'd really like this, like you'd enjoy it.
Yeah, and that's, I don't think you would be like absolutely enthralled. It wouldn't grab you intently, but it's a good, just enjoyable. If you got a Saturday, burn through 3 episodes, or if you got like a day off to sit down and just watch something random, it's a good just watch.
My Saturday is Tuesday.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I kind of flipped it. Like, if you got a good Tuesday off with nothing to do, just sit around, flip it on, let it go while you're playing on computer or something. That's kind of how I binge through it. I always like, the day comes out, I'll watch all 10 episodes, and then I barely touch it again for 2 years before the next one.
It comes back.
Good Omens is going to be on Amazon Prime. They're releasing all 6 episodes Friday, but Amy and I are only going to do 1 episode a week starting next Wednesday.
Yeah, because
sorry, Mackenzie, I wasn't trying to hijack your channel. It's just
no, it's a valid question because I know we could be wrapping up eventually, but yeah, it seems like we're talking about Stranger Things, so yeah, we'll do Stranger Things then. So next week on Wednesday, you heard it here first. We're gonna start with Stranger Things. Because we've all made kind of valid arguments. I think even Johnny voted, 2 times for Stranger Things. So yeah, we'll start with Stranger Things on.
Oh, I'm gonna miss the butt stream though.
No, we'll figure it out. Because or John, there can always be a part 2. You never know, with more people to air out their own if they want to show up.
Or I can just send you my list of butts.
Yes, you can do that too. Like for the cat fight for Catelyn Tully. Is she a good mother or the best mother of or the best or the bestest mother? You can most definitely do that. But
by the way, was that on your channel or Johnny's?
That was on Johnny's channel.
The cat fight?
Yeah.
Because you can see me in cat ears.
Yes.
Because even though I hate Catelyn Tully, somebody had to take her side. So I did for a very short period of time.
Yeah, so we'll do that. Or if scheduling changes, we may do something like that. But yeah, I'll probably post something about it, and I'll make a group, or not a group, but I'll make like an event or something in Facebook. We're gonna start with Stranger Things. What?
Oh, I thought you were gonna make a butt group.
Well, I'll have to make the event, but I can't title it that. I'll probably be like best behinds and all that other thing. And but yeah, we'll do the dairy, the Derriere debates. Ha 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 ha.
The air and dairy is not good. Listen to the podcast that floats down here to find out why. Sorry, shameless plug. Had to get that in.
No, that's entirely. But yeah, I think. Yeah, we'll do Stranger Things. That makes a lot more sense because that comes out the 4th of July, I believe.
So that's my birthday.
Because I know season 1 is 8 episodes and then season 2 is 9 episodes. So we can conceivably, if we at least do 2 a week,
yeah,
we could be 2 or 3. If we do 3 a week. 2 of them can be podcasts, or 2 of them can be a live stream. We can talk about this all in the end, but at least we'll get 1 live stream.
I'll throw it out there. Honestly, with Stranger Things, because it's so condensed, you can honestly in one stream get like, instead of doing like 2 like single episode streams, maybe do 2 episodes a pop, 2 to 3 episodes a pop. Like that, it's pretty well condensed down. Because the show's meant to be binged. That's how it's produced. It's meant to be watched all at one time. So
we'll figure out the logistics in the back end because I know we'll have more people.
Oh yeah.
With that, but yeah, if there's anything else we want to talk about, because I know we've been going for roughly 2 hours now. So if there's anything else we want to talk about, I know there's some the chatter just being so funny today.
So okay, what is one dropped storyline or character that you wish you would have gotten a payoff for but didn't?
A dropped character,
like dropped character storyline, or just kind of just we're done.
I mean,
to give you an example, like I'll go with Hot Pie. I kind of wanted to get one more Hot Pie inference or something with him. I know he's said he's doing this thing, but if the kid's been there since season 1. He was in episode 10, season 1. When he met Arya, and he's been there almost every season. I think he wasn't in 5, I think. But every other time he's popped, or maybe 6, he's popped in somewhere. And I just wanted one Hot Pie pop in.
Yeah. Hot Pie seems like a good one. Me and my stupid theories. I mean, Dario should have shown back up again, or like Jaqen. Those are like the 3 that we should have gotten a payoff for. That's like at least Jaqen. Jaqen should have showed, or Dario. At least like get a hint of Dario, like Varys even saying that, oh, like something happened in Marine or something like that. Did Marine actually choose their own leader? We don't know. Something like that, like to get us resolved on that end. Like I'll just go with Dario because it's like we don't know, is Dario still the one that's in charge or not? Oh, it would have been so sad if like Drogon's like, let me just go to Marine and be like, Danny's dead. Like, I don't know, but I mean, that's all. John, what do you think?
Oh, okay. So A, this is obscure, and B, it's pretty morbid. I really would have liked for before she went back to Essos in season or Westeros in season 7. If Dany had stopped in Karth and just opened up the safe.
The one with zeros and dogs. And
like
that was Eerie. Was that Eerie or
not a book thing? That's totally not a book thing. That's something they threw in the show, not in the books. But I would have loved it if Dany had stopped back in Karth and just like, oh yeah, they're desiccated, they're dead.
Well, you figure that when they like no food.
No. Like the actual like payoff moment.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
Like I said, it's obscure and it's morbid, but.
Oh, one other thing I was kind of happy with, because everybody in the fandom, unless anybody else had anything to go on with that one, but one thing I was so happy with, because everybody in the fandom was like, Sam has to live or Tyrion has to live because they have to write the book and blah 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 blah. No, I'm sorry. Samwell better than Samwise. Samwell doesn't need to read the book. He just needs to inspire the damn name. And it's just that to me was and I like that they called back to Ebros. He's like, well, I'm writing about the history after Robert's Rebellion and all this, and the history of Westeros after Robert's Rebellion. Sam's like, it needs a more catchier name, and A Song of Ice and Fire, nod to the book series and all that. Great, but I'm so glad that they let Ebros be the one to write the book and to write the damn book. Sam doesn't need to write the book. If they had Gilly do it, I'd been okay. I would have been okay if Gilly had been the one writing the book. But Samwell better than Samwise. I say that hands down. Samwise never killed a damn thing. So. Yeah. Maybe he did. I'd never read the book.
He killed a big fucking spider.
A big spider. Samwell killed killed a walker.
Yeah. Gilly's just the audiobook version.
Oh my god, that's awesome. That's
It's just the audio book. Because she's like, what do you do with scratches on paper? That was like, literally, should just be the audio book version.
yeah, but she's she's the one that found out about John's parentage. She's like, oh, Rhaegar, so she's learning, but that's great. That's hilarious.
She's old Nan.
She's yes.
She's
Gillian's
the
old
audio
man.
book
Nan
version.
2.0.
Yeah, Abby brought up the line a couple last stream we were on. She's like, you're talking, you know all this from reading, and I know T, or what does it know? I know R.
Yeah.
That's it. And so for see that progression, it's just it was great. But oh my god, that audiobook thing that was good.
Before you drop out, may I ask a question?
What? Yeah.
2 questions actually. Favorite moment about season 8?
You already know my mom. You probably already know mine.
Well, yeah, but just say it.
Well, I have 2. Because there's obviously the obvious one where it's like Sansa gets what she wants. The second one, even though it's cheesy as hell, everybody's like, no, that's not gonna happen. They're not gonna just use that as a thing. Romantic dragon riding. I literally called that was gonna happen, and everybody's like, no, why would they waste all the CGI on that? And it was like, they literally spent 20 minutes on it. Huh?
A Whole New World was your favorite moment.
Yes.
Literally.
Okay. I'm not judging.
Because I just called it. I was like, yeah, that's probably gonna happen. Because it's like it just seemed like if there's this is gonna be like, because everybody's like, oh, John's gonna like learn how to ride a dragon from Danny. It's gonna be this huge, just like thing, like storyline based. It's like, no, it's just gonna be a romantic dragon riding thing. Yeah.
Least favorite moment of season
8. Least favorite moment. I mean, this is like, I have to come back to that because I have to try to remember like the stuff that happened. Ben, what do you?
All right. So favorite moment. I'm probably the moment that got the biggest reaction out of me that I absolutely loved first time watching through. After thinking about it, okay, not as great, but just in the moment, Arya killing Night King. That made me pop. And actually, most of episode 3, watching that, especially with the crew we did, John, getting live reaction with 100 other people, all of episode 3, even though the lighting kind of sucked on it, the rest, the story, the battles, the action, it was great. And so, as a whole, my favorite thing, was episode 3, just in general. I loved all the cool callbacks to Arya. I liked the build that they had. Even the stupid parts of it, like the Night's King being fire retardant, but not the fire still engulfing him instead of just going around him. That bothered me, but my minor little things bother me in episode 3, but I'll stick with episode 3 was my favorite thing. My least favorite thing was the second half of episode 5. From literally when they line up at the gates of King's Landing till the end, I could not stand any of it. Arya being in peril every 10 seconds. Cersei's getting crushed. That's it. I take that back. One good thing in that section was the Clegane Bowl. I liked the way they did it. I was happy with it. It wasn't as spectacular as I had imagined, but I was happy with what they did. Besides that, the rest of that episode, I was not happy. Danny going mad, the Golden Company being worthless, the Scorpions being worthless, Euron ships being worthless, Euron magically swimming around the entire fucking city to meet up right at the right time with Jaime coming into the cavern right at the right moment. Just not a fan. And so I'd say the last 35 to 40 minutes of episode 5 were my least favorite episodes.
See, I loved Arya's episode 5 storyline.
I liked her storyline. But continuing. Is she gonna die? Like the random cut to black, you know she's not gonna die. I liked the story progression. I just didn't like the execution at the after the Hound part.
I have to say, best makeup of the entire series.
I will agree with that. Well, I should say best, but a very good one. Yes.
Yeah, the makeup people. Props to them. And it was so cute how their daughter got to be in like the people who owned the company that did all of this VFX makeup. Like she got to be in the last scene, or the last scene for us in the series, which was so cute. She's like, oh, she gets so cute. Yeah, I guess I could say like my least favorite thing was, even though it's weird because now I know that it's Kit's actual last scene in the entire series, is like Grey Worm being like, everything, it's ours. Like, this because it's Danny City, I get to do whatever the heck I want, which is kill all of the Lannisters, and like Grey Worm having supreme power, especially in episode 6, where he's like, I'm just gonna have military state, and everybody else can just shut up. It's like, no. Or the fact that I saw some people say it's like, because John killed the Khaleesi / their call, all of her blood riders, meaning all of the Dothraki, should have died, or committed suicide because she had died. So it's like that didn't like deal with, which I was just like, huh? But yeah, the whole Grey Worm like plotline post Missandei dying was like the worst part of it for me, because I was like, why do you have all of this? And then Danny making up the new title of Master of War. Isn't that like the armies? Like, I guess it's like the master of like all the armies, but it's just like, what? Like, wasn't he already that? Like, before you crossed the narrow sea, wasn't he already kind of a master of war? Just,
do you think that is a title at the table? If I remember correctly.
because people were I know, because I like watched a couple of things that people were confused about that, like how it's like, why is she saying that? Because it's
Master of Whispers, the Master of Coin, was the Maester. Fucking great rats.
pun intended. Yeah,
I do think there is a Master of War.
I can't remember.
The ones they don't have: Master of War, Master of Laws, and Master of Whispers. Those are
No,
three.
but like the whole thing of the title of that. What did that exist before Danny like had it though? That's the thing. Because a lot of people
Master Renly was Master of Laws under Robert. Once Joffrey came about, show-wise, they kind of got rid of it. They never really spoke of that one again. Book-wise, I forget who it is. But then you had, because Master of Ships and Master of Laws kind of aren't really mentioned too much in the books or show.
Laws was
well, it was Renly. It was Renly at first.
No, but after Renly,
oh yeah,
it was Tywin's brother.
No,
Kevin Lannister.
No, Kevin turned down a role while Cersei, until Cersei was in prison. Then he became Hand. It was somebody under the Tyrells. It was one of the Tyrell bannermen. Because that's what was driving Cersei insane. Was because it was Mace was Master of Coin then, and he had his own person as Master of Laws, and another one as Master of Ships. So literally, they had more than half the small council was under Tyrell, and I think War was.
Well, I think what was driving
was Tarly. Tarly became Master of War.
That's baby.
Huh?
I said I think what was driving Cersei insane was that she was like an incest baby.
Not as bad as incest as the man she wanted to marry before Jaime came. Before she won Jaime.
Oh no, she made worse incest babies, but she was an incest baby.
Yeah. So, but the ones they didn't have was Wars, Laws, and Whispers, and so Wars and Laws in the show wasn't ever really a thing, but it was a position to be had.
Yeah, it just never. Yeah, because I know a lot of people are like, "What?" There was like, because when she first said it, people were like, "What?" Um, yeah, like all in all, it was a good series and a good season. So I know we kind of talked about this before, but as per episode club, what would you rate the entire series of Game of Thrones?
Oh,
The entire
Series.
series.
series. I thought you were going to go with season. All right,
Oh,
series of Game of Thrones.
Well, if you didn't rate, I know Ben, you weren't on for like a season 8, but you can do like that and then the entire series because it's like
all right.
we're wrapping up season 8 / Game of Thrones in like a pretty little bow. So
Fair. So for season 8, I rated 2 out of 8 season 8s. Sorry, I'm just trying to be funny. But yeah, it's my second least favorite season, but it's still a good season. And overall, the series, even with season 8's issues, it still gets a 9.8 for me. I would recommend the show to about 75% of the people I know. I know only about 13% of them will watch it, but I would recommend it to 75% of them. The 25% are the old folk that just, and sorry, the old folk that actually like the show. Not lumping you in, but the old folk I know would not enjoy this show too much. But yeah, 9.8. There's very few misses, and even the misses, if you don't look deep into it, are good. You know, it's the very little stuff you can watch this without knowing anything about it, and you're gonna enjoy it, and you're gonna have a good time, and you're gonna be intrigued, you're gonna be hooked. You just have to get through episode 1. Episode 1 is still my least favorite episode of the entire series, even after episode 8. Even after episode 5 of season 8. Episode 1 is still my least favorite because it's so hard to get through for me. I passed out 3 different times trying to watch it. Once you got to the very end of it, I was like, okay, I'm hooked. But it took me getting that last scene to actually hook me.
John,
I would give season 8 a C plus.
so like a 60, 50 something.
No, we work on a 7-point scale.
Yeah, so like a 76.
Yeah, like so like 76. There were a lot of things I didn't like. I have to say, I think, and I'm gonna get fucking flamed for this, but I think Dan and Dave did the best they did with what they had, what they had was 6 episodes, and
They wanted 6 episodes. No, I'm not going to let you get away with that one. They did the best they could with what they wanted. They only wanted 6 episodes. HBO wanted a full 10 episode season. So
with,
David and Dan, I'm not going to let you get away with that one. On that one. Sorry.
But with what they had, I mean, but with what had been agreed on.
Fair.
Word, just more like wording.
I'm not saying they were given the short end of the dick. They
By choice. By choice, they were given the short end.
Yeah, they made it that way.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Is that was their choice to do it.
Absolutely, agree. But yeah, I give season 8 a C plus. Yeah, like 76, which is like I had 1 C plus all through high school, and I was so disappointed.
Yeah.
And there's the difference between John and myself.
What was a D or an F?
Yeah, like a lot of people are agreeing. They're like saying it's 10 out of 10 or like 9.95 as Otila says.
The show, as a book reader, the show as a whole, I give an A minus. All 73
episodes.
73 episodes.
And
the show as a whole, I give an A minus. I do think that the last 4 seasons were spectacle over story. Which was the failing for me is the big Tolkien nerd that I am to The Hobbit, as opposed to The Lord of the Rings. Like a respectable over story. Like it's a fun action movie, but if I wanted to watch an action movie, I'd go watch some piece of Marvel feces that comes out once a month, every month, for the past 20 years.
Yeah.
And I give exactly this many fucks about. But take the series as a whole, yeah, I'll give it an A minus.
Yeah.
I give it 8.5 Tyrion speeches.
I don't know. For me, this season, I think my overall average for the rating that I gave it, it was never lower, I think, than an 8, based off of because I knew because in my writer's mind I could fill in what they were trying to do. So yeah, I'd give the season overall an 8. I think that was the average. Out of 10. But I feel like for the entire series, I'm agreeing with a lot of people. I would say it's either a 9.9 or a 10 out of 10. It is literally one of the best series of television that we've had for a long time. And if I didn't keep it in, or parts of it in, but if you watch the full length, which is on my Patreon, of the final episode of Game of Thrones, then you'll hear my parents, who've only seen literally since up to the moment where we're introduced to the Stark family with Bran and Jon and Robb with the arrows, watching the last episode, and it you can hear them in the background. It's just the funniest thing because they're with moments of Tyrion. My mom's like, "Who is that guy?" I'm like, when she walked into the room, it's like, "Who is that guy?" And I'm like, "That's Tyrion." And then when Tyrion's like, to Jon, "Did you bring any wine?" My mom's like, "I like that guy," and so on and so forth. Or up to Jon and Dany, and with the whole situation with him stabbing her, my dad's like, "I called that," and mom's like, "How did you call that?" It's stuff like that made this funny. That's what makes this show, and it's pretty much this we all at this point, as wouldn't be sitting here talking about a show if we didn't like it. We wouldn't be doing an extra thing about talking about the show. So
exactly. And I would say, just as a whole, because of Episode Club, thank you, Kenzie, again for having me on. I've made a lot of friends because of this stupid TV show. Yourself, John, Johnny, AK, DA, LMR, Doris Wench.
Scotch drunk.
He got me scotch drunk, and I cleaned a head wound on this dude. So, yeah.
And I remember exactly his quote. He's like, "I thought it tasted disgusting at first."
And then about a half a glass later, then it turned into 4 glasses later.
This is delicious.
This is. Yes. So, but because of this, the community that this created is why this is my absolute favorite show I've ever seen, ever watched, and I'm glad I'm a part of it. The reasons I gave it a 9.8, there's literally 2, and I can call them out. I gave them 0.1% deduction, or 0.1 deduction off of it. Shay, the presentation of Shay, hashtag Shay Stadium. You know why we call her that?
Just go back and watch.
And she can fit 10,000 people in her. So hashtag Shea Stadium. Secondly, would be episode 5 of this season, the last 30 minutes. But that's because I came into it expecting more, and it was subverted from me. But also just didn't like the way stuff was pulled off. That's kind of it. Besides those 2 things, this is a perfect show. A lot of people hated episodes 3 and 4 and all that. I loved them. I couldn't ask for more. Couldn't ask for better. I actually enjoyed the finale. And this whole series, even Dorn, as bad as it was compared to the books, and the acting wasn't great except for a couple of characters. It was a good storyline. It made sense. It worked. Sansa being raped by Ramsay is horrible to see. You don't want to see that. But it fit the story and it fit the narrative and it was well done. And so it's one of those of this series has been impeccable, but with a few misses, and that's just my own book nerdish thing that bothered me. So anybody that wants to shit on the series as a whole, sorry, Kens, I'm going to cuss, go fuck yourself. But this is a great series, and if you hate on the season, fine, hate on the season because you invest this time, you have that right. But it's still be honest, and it actually was good. The acting was phenomenal. The shot making was phenomenal. The action was great. Storyline, a little weak. Everything else, fucking great. So if you're a fan, make sure to turn other people onto it and say, hey, give it a shot. Get past episode 1. It's hard to get through episode 1. But after that, you're gonna like it. And that's it. I'm done. Ben Rant done. Final Ben Rant of Episode Club Game of Thrones. There we go.
John, before you answer that, John, Terry T wants to know, did you get Ben some Lafferner egg? John, it's Terry T's one of her comments about what type of
yes, Ben and I drank a lot of Lefroy.
Lefroy, yes. I keep forgetting the name. I need you to send that to me in chat because I need to find some of that. Because
it's also an angel spit.
Yeah, I'm not a whiskey drinker. I wasn't a Scotch drinker, and then I drank like a sip of it. I'm like, nah, I don't like it. Took another sip. Okay, but I guess I'll do 4 more glasses of this. And then I lost my memory after a while after I left his room.
John,
and then did you end up going to the cabin number 4 party with me?
The next night, yes.
Yeah, that was oh my god, their deposit. Like,
oh no.
No, I heard the bartenders were gossiping about it. Because I was there Sunday night right before the showing of the last episode.
Yeah.
And the bartenders were like, "Oh my god, the cabin 4 people, they owe like $4,000 to the hotel." And I'm like, you know what? Didn't happen in my place.
Right.
Exactly. But John, do you have any final thoughts about either Episode Club, Game of Thrones? Although we're talking about Game of Thrones again.
Kenzie, thank you so much for having me come out to talk as often as you have.
No problem.
About something we're both passionate about. It really means a lot to me. The reason I give the series as a whole an A-, which I think is a good grade.
Yeah.
Like the only show I've ever given an A+ is Battlestar.
Of course, because it's you. I wouldn't expect it to be any other show.
Hey, even Caprica, which I love, I give like a solid A, maybe even A-. But with this last season, it was so divisive with so many people. Yes, it was rushed. I mean, we're all going to admit that. We're all going to admit that the season was ridiculously rushed. It should have been 2 or 3 seasons. But people have other contracts. People have other things they have to do. And I'm not going to be that dick who says, like, oh, well, Dan and Dave have that Disney money, so they're just going to run over there. Like, you got to consider these guys are working with like bullet points.
Yeah.
It's not like they have the novel to sit down with.
Yeah, exactly.
They're working with plenty of fucking bullet points. Like, you can only do so much with that. I liked the ending. Oh, and I'm gonna get flamed for that. And I really don't give a fuck. Flame me. Oh God, please speak poorly. I still have yet to get a dislike on my channel.
The day somebody does that, it'll make John St. Baptiste very happy.
Oh gosh, I will find out who gave the dislike, and I will like send them a personal message like, "Thank you." I feel like I'm like a real channel now.
Yeah.
Because I don't even have 200 subscribers, but yeah, once I get my first dislike, I will be like so. I'll be like, oh, awesome! I got my thumbs down.
DA has her back. It says, "No, you won't, John. I loved it when you were talking about Game of Thrones or saying that you liked the finale." And then he also says, "Be right back. I gotta go to a video to dislike with a laughing face." So it's like, so he may be
Yeah, I was gonna say, DA, do me a favor and link John's channel in the chat here, and everybody go and dislike one video of John's, just to even things out.
Respectfully, of course.
Well, yeah.
And then it's not super genuine.
I mean, for me, it's a little heartbreaking because for season 8 to let my community have a voice. I've put out like a track a day, Monday through Friday, for each episode, and I'm like, hey, vote on it. And so the community put together the playlist. Like I threw out like 5 tracks, and I'm like, hey, you pick it. And so that's been really exciting. And that'll be out tomorrow, which I'm really stoked about. With new artwork by Julianne089. Oh my gosh. And her artwork for this season is all her artwork that she does for all my stuff is so amazing. But the one for this season, it's the cat's tits. It's like it's really
funny.
I'm stoked that's going to be out tomorrow night.
So you have that, and then you have
last thought about Game of Thrones. It couldn't be, but it should have been longer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair.
So, I know, John, you have your live streams on Wednesdays before this. You have so you're gonna go after that video that you put out with the playlist, what are you gonna do now with music again? Are you gonna pick a different show and
I'm taking a 2-week break.
I know that feeling well.
I'm taking a 2-week break, and I'm gonna just rehash and refigure what I want to do. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm going to be putting music out. And what I really want is for people to drop in, and you can only drop it in comments. I can't put out like poll or anything like that because my channel's not big enough. But I want people to drop like, what do you want to hear? Do you want to hear thematic playlists, like about like a certain theme, like an emotion or a thought or a topic or whatever, or do you just want to hear me put out like 7 songs that I think are just awesome? because that's what my channel's all about. I curate music and I discuss it, but I like keeping things thematic. But I want people to, I want people to interact because that's what it's all about. I share music with you. You share music with me. We share music with each other. That's my passion.
Of course.
And by the way, anyone who's getting a lunchbox, you're going to get a very special little gift in your lunchbox involving me and music.
Lunch boxes. Go check out Cylon Johns for all the lunch boxes. But Ben, I know you guys are trying to figure out stuff to do for drinks and those still.
Yeah. So we're kind of taking a break right now. We're taking a 2-week-ish hiatus as well. Luke's been out of town all week or over the last weekend. I'm not sure if we're doing anything this weekend or not. I know we're going to do kind of a similar thing as this, a wrap-up, trying to bring on, we may do a couple episodes of bringing on several previous guests, people who haven't been guests, just kind of, to bring in everybody we can, just to have some drunken shenanigans kind of thing, talk about the show, have a good time with that, and then hopefully, I know Luke's starting up a book club with Bailey in July. They're doing like a once a month stream, but I think that's a podcast I'll be that gets lit is the name of it. As for us, we're tentatively be doing book stuff, but I think we're going to start with the novellas, kind of go from there, maybe do monthly episodes, going along those lines. I'd like to do a little more frequent, but right now, after 73 straight weeks of getting all this in and getting all of it done, and we're less than what you guys do, but it's just getting all of us together. It makes it tough, so we're taking a little bit of a break on that. But we're still working hard on podcasts that floats down here and Must Not Be Named, Harry Potter and Stephen King podcasts. So those are all coming out, and you can find all those on YouTube as well. Just the podcast that floats down here, the podcast that Must Not Be Named. I know Melissa and Luke on Monday nights are going to be doing Must Not Be Named Harry Potter stuff live streams. So do me a favor, go check those out, get them some numbers up, hit the like buttons on there, get their numbers up. Myself, I'm actually hosting Citadel Trivia this Friday night. And John, there is a category that I came up with kind of you in mind, music inspired. For the last 7 weeks, we've been doing straight Game of Thrones, Song of Ice and Fire stuff. We're getting away from that. We'll still have at least one category of Song of Ice and Fire or Game of Thrones related, but we're getting away from it, get back to the normal, just nerd trivia. So come with your hats on and be ready. And from there, I'm just gonna be bouncing around to any stream.
I'm gonna have to go watch. You guys go on like a half hour before we do with Cylon Johns.
We do, yeah, unfortunately. So
But
hey,
It's the way things work out.
yeah,
Like,
if you
I'm
get
not-
in the chat early, if you pick the right cards, you might get a category card that you might be interested in. Just saying.
I always
Anyway, like I said, I'll be bopping around different people's streams. So it'll have me because I'm a YouTube whore, and I will come on anywhere that'll have me because this is the only time I get a drink now. When I get on, I come in, I tell people, hey, I'm going to drink on your stream. Hope that's okay. And so I'll do it as much as I can.
And go. Yeah,
But thank you again, Kezzy, and happy birthday.
No, thank you guys. It's been an awesome about 2 days that it's been going on, and yeah, we've had episode club since August 28th, as I found out remembered today. And I put out that video earlier today. A lot of people are like, "This is so weird," but I also the thing about it, like I've never been so welcomed before. But yeah, it was me saying everything. What?
Have you got your song yet?
My what?
Your song.
What song? What song?
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday
to you. Happy birthday,
dear Mandy. Happy
Birthday to you.
The funny thing is that I don't think it's copyrighted anymore, so
It's in public domain now. We're good. It was sued on, and it's good.
it's all right. But yeah, episode club's been alive since August, like August, September, and it's kind of, or for Game of Thrones anyway. And now to have it come full circle, and we start a new one. Like it's not going away. A lot of people are like, is it going away? It's like, no, it's not going away. We have so many different. It's like a book club. We pick a new one after a new one ends. So yeah, as it's been announced, it's Stranger Things. Look out for Facebook, where I should have an event talking about the new series, which will be Stranger Things. Will probably be something about, we'll just have to do some behind scenes stuff for the Derriere debate that's going to go on.
Oh, I want to be on the Derriere debate, but I don't think
We'll figure it out, John. We'll figure out the Derriere debate, what we're doing with that. And
that
Ben,
worked so hard on the list.
Sorry, Blues just won in overtime.
woo!
Let's go, Blues. Play Gloria. Sorry. Anyway.
Exactly. We're still alive. So, yeah.
Hashtag fuck the Bruins.
But thank
I'm
you.
a Blue Jackets fan, and you know what? Our ultimate rivals are the St. Louis Blues, and still hashtag fuck the Bruins.
Thank you for the two of you, for every single person who's ever been on a panel, from Elmar and Fandom D Saints and AK and Johnny's been on like almost like every single one virtually. He's been at least maybe 60 of them he's been on. Either him and just me or him at the panel. Like, and to everybody in the chat who came like every single week, or who watched them when they were podcast form, I thank you all so very much. And we'll get out of here before we get too much longer. But yeah, join us next week where we should be starting Stranger Things as voted by everybody else. And yeah, we'll see you all then. And now I gotta go watch Stranger Things. But bye, everyone.
Hey, so you gotta watch Cylon Johns and Jules podcast.
And that too. Now I have a new team, new stuff to watch. Yeah, you can find me though here, and you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, on my Patreon, where all my full length reactions and other stuff like this gets to be voted on. And just go over there. It's explained. But yeah, I'll see you all. We'll see you all very soon with a new show and that. Bye, everyone.